Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we are looking at Jeremiah 30 and 31. And we are definitely kind of shifting gears here in Jeremiah. We've talked a little bit about how Jeremiah is kind of in phases. And there's been a lot of proclaiming death and destruction and judgment. And now we're kind of transitioning into a piece of Jeremiah that is about hope and restoration and what those who are faithful and obedient can look forward to, because God is not going to be concerned about death and destruction always and forever.
I definitely noticed in chapter 30, there is this almost like a promise of punishment, which is really interesting because I think these chapters are starting to take a shift now from, yes, you'll be punished, but also there will be restoration. So God's people will be brought back from all of the places that they've been scattered to. But in chapter 30, verse 11, it says, "For I am with you to save you, declares the Lord. I will make a full end of all the nations among whom I scattered you. But of you I will not make a full end. I will discipline you in just measure, and I will by no means leave you unpunished." So it's interesting. The following verse talks about like the things that they've done. Your hurt is incurable. Your wound is grievous. There's nothing that can heal you. Basically, it's talking about like you've hit your lowest low. You will be punished for the lowest low. But chapter 31 really kind of takes this turn. It pivots for us into this, I guess even just like encouragement of, I'm gonna bring you back. I'm going to take care of my people again and bring them back from the farthest parts of the earth where I've scattered them.
Yeah, I that stuck out to me as well, that, hey, I'm going to destroy all these nations that have scattered you, but I will not bring you to a full end. And what's interesting about that, you're not going to meet any Babylonians today. You're not going to meet any Assyrian Empire people today. I guess you could make the case that you will meet some Israelites still today. Now, obviously, things have shifted and changed, but you will still meet people that have a very Hebrew national identity, and so it could be said that God really has not brought them to a full end. And I think our hope is in God. Like, ultimately, our relationship with God, we've been grafted in to be a follower of Him, and so we're adopted as sons and daughters. I mean, I guess unless you're actually Jewish listening to the podcast, like, you have been grafted in as an adopted child, and so that shows that God is continually faithful to His promises. And there is that judgment piece. We've walked through that judgment piece. But it is interesting how God is saying, hey, I'm going to have compassion on you. I'm going to have grace and mercy for you. I will not bring you to a full end, and I will bring you back.
So something that was encouraging as well. So we're pivoting again to this restoration. In chapter 31, verse 21, it says, "Set up road markers for yourself and make guideposts for yourself. Consider well the highway, the road by which you went. Return, O Virgin Israel, return to these your cities. How long will you waver, O faithless daughter? For the Lord has created a new thing on the earth. A woman encircles a man." I don't really totally get that part, but the part before that, where it's talking about these road signs and guideposts, is interesting to me because it is like God saying, like, hey, mark these places because you will return back. Make them as places to know how to come back to your own towns. So it's like, I don't know about you, but like for me, I need to have some kind of like, all right, I have these little reminders of hope and reminders of good things to come, because it can be so daunting and like disheartening to just be like, well, I'm just going to be punished. Like, we even do that with our own children. Like, when we talk to our kids, like, hey, you have this consequence because of what you did, but we still love you and you can do better, but you will still have this consequence because of your actions. So it makes it lighter for them, knowing that yes, something needs to happen because of my actions, but also there is still love and hope to do better and to like make wiser choices in the future.
So probably one of the more significant passages in all of Jeremiah occurs in Jeremiah 31. You can see, if you're reading a Bible with us, which I encourage you to read along with us, or at least listen to the reading afterwards. Verse 31, the heading is the new covenant. Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah, not like the covenant I have made with their fathers on the day when I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, my covenant that they broke, though I was their husband, declares the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, declares the Lord. I will put my law within them, and I will write it on their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And no longer shall each one teach his neighbor and each his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me. So this is significant because the covenants are kind of a guidepost for all of the Bible. Like God makes a covenant with Abraham. He says, hey, you're going to have so many descendants. I'm going to make them into a nation. They're going to bless the entire world. That's significant. That's a covenant. God makes a covenant with the people of Israel through Moses, which is basically the 10 Commandments, the law, and says, like, if you follow these laws, these commandments, I will bless you. If you do not follow them, I will curse you. So this is God officially on the record saying, hey, there is a new covenant coming, and it's going to be totally different. It's not going to be written on tablets. It's going to be written on hearts. It's not going to be broken because it won't be possible to be broken. So this would have gotten people's attention because it's kind of rewriting how they understand everything. What's really interesting is that in Luke 22, verse 20, when Jesus is doing the Last Supper, when he hands the cup, he says, this is a new covenant of my blood. So I don't know if those are necessarily intentionally tied together, but you could easily make the case that they are tied together. That Jesus is establishing the fact that a new covenant has come, a new era has come, and now the law is going to be written on everybody's hearts, and their obedience is going to be more drawn to the Lord.
Well, it also says, from the least to the greatest, I'll forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sins no more.
Yeah.
So it's just like this ultimate return to... I don't know, like oneness with who God is, which is really cool. I like how you made that comparison of the covenants being like these markers along the way, like these mile markers. It's kind of a good visual.
So I think for today, probably one of the more interesting things to take away is, one, we are living under that new covenant. The law is written on our hearts. We know what the Lord desires because of the Holy Spirit. We're living in a new phase of Christian history, and we can be thankful for that. I think also, like, Jeremiah can feel kind of doomy and gloomy, and you can see God as judgmental and, disciplinarian. But it is important to also understand that God's heart for mercy and grace is very present throughout Jeremiah.
It's always present.
It's always present. And so you don't want to look at God just as a disciplinarian. You want to see God as just in his mercy and his grace. And so I think some of the two chapters that we read today help us understand, like when he says, like, I'm going to destroy these nations, but I'm not going to utterly destroy you because I remember you. You can see God's heart for his people, his love for his people, and to the point that he's going to establish a completely new covenant that's going to allow all us to enjoy him and follow him forever. So I think that is a good thing to keep your mind set on. Understand that we are still walking out this story. We look forward to Christ's return and living in his kingdom forever. So just be encouraged by that and walk as though that is true today. We'll see you later. Thanks so much for listening to God's Plan, Your Part. If anything stuck out to you, if you have any questions, or if you'd like to receive a Bible, you can email us at godsplanyourpart@gmail.com. Also, if you're enjoying the podcast, please consider supporting us through the link in our description. We love that you're on this journey with us, and we hope you have a great day. See you tomorrow.